Gypsy Rose Blanchard has been working overtime on her new YouTube channel where she's going to put her podcast. So much so that she has already uploaded the first episode of her new mini series called Unfiltered Steps. So I myself am also going to start a mini series covering these episodes. It is no longer beige mom Gypsy in a wig with a big microphone. No. We now have pixie cut Gypsy in that same pink sweater I've seen her wear so many times. With all the clothes that she buys, how come I never see her in a new shirt? Not saying I'm in a new shirt because I don't really care about clothes that much. And isn't it July or something? And maybe I'll read all this in a separate video, but not right now because I just had to spend 39 grueling minutes listening to Gypsy. And I was going to leave these clips at normal speed, but I can't do it, y'all. I can't do it. Now, hopefully, Gypsy will stay in her lane and allow me to cover her. She is the subject matter after all. We're going to call this episode 1, Disconnected from Reality.
Episode 1 of 4, and it is titled Before the Breakthrough. I've said in numerous interviews that prison was more freedom that I had at home.
This is where Gypsy continues to glorify her time in prison to young, impressionable minds and try to continue her narrative of not having freedom at home. But we know that that's not true based on all the FOIA evidence.
So my experience with prison, I have to say that I had some of the best times in prison. Most people like to think of like iron bars and glass windows, kind of cells, and you're sort of just locked away from all of society 24/7. And it's actually not like that. But prison, I like to describe it as kind of like a college, but it's a college for convicts.
No, bad. Gypsy is putting out this mindset. Yeah, go ahead. Go kill your mom. It's okay because prison's really not that bad. No, seriously, what the fuck is happening right now?
They have recreation. They have vocational classes, educational classes, many things for the inmates to do, or as you know, in my prison system, they call this offenders. I know that she did not just give air quotations and smile when she said offenders, because Gypsy doesn't see herself as an offender, but that's exactly what she is. Okay, so we are going to skip over a bunch of this. It's just Gypsy talking about how classification works. I'm pretty sure most of us already know this. We are a true crime community after all. Vandalia was actually a really nice prison. It kind of looks like a farm. Like all the housing units look like red barns. And
you hear that, kids? If you like red barns, you can go to prison. Yeah, I'm being sarcastic. Don't go to effing prison.
So it really didn't feel scary.
Now Gypsy Manson will speak on the only time in her life she had to have a real job. Manual labor, baby.
I had to have a job. So I worked janitorial services for a while. So I scrubbed toilets. So I was also put in GED classes. I would go to school for 2 hours, Monday through Friday. I was in GED school for about 5 years because when I entered the prison system, I had probably about a 2nd grade education.
I don't know. That sounds an awful lot like Gypsy blaming Dee Dee for the fact that it took her 5 years to get the GED. Comment what you think.
But I didn't know how to multiply or divide.
Then Gypsy shows a picture of her in her graduation of GED getup. I didn't even get a graduation for my GED, so maybe because it took her 5 years. I don't know.
But my best friend Lori was able to attend. So anyway, that was, one job that I had was janitorial services. But then when I graduated, I went on to do other things like warehouse. I worked in the warehouse for a bit. So I learned how to work a pallet jack. I learned how to unbox trucks. And that was like really hard work for me. I never did any hard work, labor like that.
And legend has it, she hasn't done any hard work like that since. This is why this is titled Disconnected from Reality.
And that was like really hard work for me. I think I did that for 6 months. It was not fun.
Then Gypsy Manson gives us a story about having to clean the trash compactors and how there would be tampons in there. I highly doubt she ever cleaned a trash compactor. That's just my opinion. I don't think she's being truthful about that. And she's so tiny, I wouldn't hire her for $5 an hour.
And we would have to scoop all of that muck.
Gypsy even starts talking about the guards and how she just treated them like other people. It wasn't an us versus them mentality, but she does prefer guards that let her get away with things.
I had my favorites because they were all just, very chill. We all like the chill ones. We don't like the ones that are like on the rules. We like the ones that kind of are like, I got you, you good. I'm just being real. I got you, you good.
Gypsy says she didn't get into a single physical fight while she was in prison, only verbal altercations.
Verbal arguments. Later on in my prison time, I started getting tired of just roommates that would just, some of the things they would do is just super annoying. But I really wouldn't, I wouldn't start the fight. I would get loud if I needed to. If somebody was in my face, I would get in their face too and start screaming and yelling. Just like out here in the real world, the first insult is always going to be your crime. Whatever you're there for is going to be the first insult that anybody throws at you. Which is funny because it's like, why would you? Okay, whatever. I mean, we're all here for something, but it is what it is. So,
as always, Gypsy tries to downplay her crime by saying it is what it is. Most people are not in prison for killing their mothers. Only Gypsy and her good friend Amelia Bird. And by the way, Barb shared some files with me on Amelia Bird, and I've been wanting to cover her, but Gypsy never stops talking.
Which moves on to kind of who would I hang out with and who was my friends. And I hit a point where I went through a phase where I was kind of trying to be that mean girl. I was hanging out with some of the mean girls, and
Gypsy said she was trying to find herself by hanging out with the mean girls and then realized that's not her, you guys. That's not her personality, even though she exhibits the exact same behavior online. Gypsy, you are definitely a mean girl.
That is just not me. That's not the clique that I want to hang out with. That's not what I want to be doing with my life.
Oh, come on now, cut it out, thanks.
I was kind of a lone wolf. And I did my time mostly on the phone with Christy or my dad, or pen pals, or Ken, or Ryan. And then I met one of my best friends. Her name is Amelia Bird. She is still my best friend, one of my best friends to this day.
Gypsy Manson goes in to talk about how she was bunkies with Amelia Bird, another person who had their mom murdered at a young age, and then this woman, Lori. I don't think I know who Lori is, or I may have forgotten. And that carries her over into talking about her disciplinary charges when she was in prison.
Contraband, things like petty stuff like contraband. I had a contraband ring one time.
I'm pretty sure it was more than one time, but continue.
Yes, that's how me and Ken met. So our very first visit, he kissed me. Open mouth kiss. You're not allowed to have open mouth kiss. That's a violation. You know what? I don't regret that violation. I don't regret that at all. That was worth it.
Apparently, Gypsy was so good in prison that she eventually got moved to the honor wing.
And I remember we'd just jam out. I remember this one time I had put my hair up in a ponytail and I was doing the whole hair swing thing. The guard walks by and he looks and he's just and just kept walking. We had a blast.
So at some point, Gypsy realizes when she's in prison, she doesn't want to be there anymore. And that time is just passing her by. The big old 8.5 years, which really is nothing in the grand scheme of life. She should have gotten way longer. And unlike most people that are behind bars, Gypsy had a lot to come home to. She was already social media famous. She had her entire family, all these men, all these supporters. A lot of people, most people, in fact, don't have that.
But for me, it was, yay, this is fun, until I realized, damn, 8.5 years, I have missed out on doing things.
You see, it's always about Gypsy and what she's missed, but never about Dee Dee.
It was, did I enjoy prison? That's a loaded question. Did I enjoy prison? I enjoyed certain aspects of it. I enjoyed the new freedom. Freedom.
I think Gypsy's internal processor had a misfire or something.
Did I try to make the most out of my time? Yes. Because I signed up for every class I could possibly take.
In all actuality, signing up for classes and groups has nothing to do with making the most of it. That was Gypsy preparing for the parole board. Because several inmates that were housed with Gypsy said she got nothing from the classes and she did not take it seriously. Now, at the end of this, Gypsy's going to talk about her parole hearing. This is all we have to know about it. We have never gotten the transcript from her parole hearing. Like, I've been dying to see this thing.
I tried to sign up for college courses and I got accepted, but I kept getting kind of like postponed on the list and so by the time like my turn would have came up, it was like a month before getting released. So I'm like, okay, well, if I had longer, I would follow through with that.
But Gypsy, you do have longer. You have your entire life out here on the outs where you could go to college and get a degree. But why would she want to pay for that out of her own pocket when she could have gotten it on the inside through grants and taxpayers' dollars?
And so when the time came to see the parole board, I think it was 7 years, I saw the parole board. And I was asked about my crime. I was asked about life with my mother. I was asked about Nick. And I was very honest with them. And I said, I feel that 2 lives were taken that night, hers and his. And it's my fault. And I own that.
Well, duh. That's exactly what you're supposed to say at a parole board hearing.
So they asked me, do you think of yourself as a celebrity? Do you think you're a celebrity? And I said, no, like I'm just Gypsy. And I maintain that to this day. I'm just Gypsy. I don't think of myself as a celebrity.
And we'll end on that note. She's just Gypsy. I think I did pretty good at narrowing this down to about 13 minutes. And in the words of Winebox Poppy, YouTube will humble you real quick. I love my YouTube people. And what does that say, my friends? Less than 900 views in 3 hours. May the humbling begin.
Doom shot, motherfucker.